This is Hydrangea paniculata limelight. It is a deciduous shrub. Gets about 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, and has beautiful white flowers turning into a limey green, or kind of a faded green you're going to see in a moment. So this is how the flower starts out. In my area, I'm in Northern California. These started blooming their best in mid-July, I would say. Quite a bit later than the other hydrangea varieties I have, the Hydrangea macrophylla and arborescens. So the Hydrangea paniculata, and even later than Hydrangea pinky winky, which is also a variety of paniculata and in the paniculata family. So what you care about most, though, is what's it look like and how can I use it. So as you can see here, it has beautiful white flowers with a conical form to them. The leaves are about 2 to 3 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide. And this is the flower in late August, and you see how the color, it's hard to read, but you'll get a close-up in a minute, but the color fades quite a bit from the white that you originally saw. Here we're going to get a close-up and see how this the white has faded to kind of a dull whitish green color. And that's going to be the color you have until we start to get some cold weather in the fall. Then the flowers turn to a pink shade, which I've seen happen on my Hydrangea macrophylla flowers as well. As when it gets cold, if you leave those on there, they're not done. You want to make sure you leave them on there, and then in the fall you're going to get this brilliant pinkish color to the flower, which will pop against the green of the leaves. And as I said, this is a deciduous shrub, so then in winter it's going to be dormant. And these bloom on new growth. You see how the tips are where the flower is, so they bloom on terminal tips. And so what you want to do in the winter is prune these back probably 2 to 3 feet, maybe a half to a third of the entire plant. And what that does is the energy that the roots have stored will push a nice new chunk of growth of about another 2 feet or so, and on that new growth you'll have your new bloom for the following season. You also want to use some I recommend that you use a slow release fertilizer so in the spring, so that these have the energy to really boost this bloom and make it as good as it can be. So how I use this in design, as you can see here, I have a border that has it's behind my pool wall, so it's hanging over that wall, and then behind it I've got taller shrubs that are anywhere from 5 to 7 feet tall generally, and I'm keeping this one at about 4 to 5 feet tall. That looks best for the layering that I've got going on there. I frankly test grow a lot of stuff, so it's not always the ideal spot, but I like this as a kind of a specimen shrub. I've seen it used as a hedge. I'm not big on deciduous hedges where we are because we have a lot of nice evergreen options, so I tend to use deciduous shrubs that bloom like this as singular items because they're large enough to hold their own and be a focal point. And then that way, when they're deciduous, I've got other areas that balance it out, so I've got more green in the garden during the winter. Let's see, Hydrangea family. A lot of the hydrangeas are deer resistant. I am not sure about Hydrangea limelight. And let's see, this is supposed to be drought resistant once it's established. I don't have experience with that, so I can't speak to it personally. These are very hardy. They're hardy down to, I believe, about -30 Fahrenheit, so very cold hardy, can be used in much of the United States. And low maintenance. As I said, once a year during the winter you want to prune these back to encourage new growth so that they bloom a lot. And that's about it. Hydrangea paniculata limelight. Beautiful deciduous shrub, great blooms as you can see here, real striking plant, and interesting during the whole summer and into the fall, which I really love. You know, there's Hibiscus syriacus, the Rose of Sharon does that as well, but as a strategic design item, I really love that in a plant when I can get a lot of interest out of it during the summer and fall months. So recommend it for that as well. And by the way, these like full sun in most areas, I think where your humidity is good. I'm in a very dry area. Our humidity's below 20%, and I like to give these protection from the hottest part of the day after 3 o'clock or so, just so they're not burning up. But this one gets full sun most of the day, but is protected by 3 p.m., and you can see it's quite happy here at the end of summer. So that is Hydrangea paniculata Limelight, and to follow are some nice companion plants. Enjoy.